What is dhyana or meditation according to Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharishi? Maharishi said the word dhyana usually signifies meditation on some object, whereas nididhyasana is used for inquiry into the self. The rites persist until the self is realized. Dhyana and nididhyasana are the same so far as the aspirant is concerned, because they involve Trinity and are synonymous with bhakti. Devotee asked, "What is dhyana?" Maharishi told, "Dhyana is holding on to a single thought and putting off all other thoughts." Devotee asked, "How should dhyana be practiced?" Maharishi told, "Dhyana serves to concentrate the mind. The predominant idea keeps off all others. Dhyana varies according to the individual. It may be on an aspect of God, on a mantra, or on the self, etc." Devotee asked, "That is dhyana?" Maharishi told, "To stick to a position unassailed by thoughts is practice. You are watchful, but the condition grows intenser and deeper. When you effort and all responsibilities are taken away from you, that is Arudha Siddhi state." Devotee asked how to meditate. Maharishi told, "Concentrate on that one whom you like best. If a single thought prevails, all other thoughts are put off and finally eradicated. So long as diversity prevails, there are bad thoughts. When the object of love prevails, only good thoughts hold the field. Therefore, hold on to one thought only. Dhyana is the chief practice. Dhyana means fight. As soon as you begin meditation, other thoughts will crowd together, gather force, and try to sink the single thought to which you try to hold. The good thought must gradually gain strength by repeated practice. After it has grown stronger, the other thoughts will be put to flight. This is the battle royal always taking place in meditation. One wants to rid oneself of misery. It requires peace of mind, which means absence of perturbation owing to all kinds of thoughts. Peace of mind is brought about by dhyana alone. Devotee asked, "Meditation is with mind, and how can it kill the mind in order to reveal the self?" Maharishi told, "Meditation, sticking to one thought, that single thought keeps away other thoughts. Distraction of mind is a sign of its weakness. By constant meditation, it gains strength. That is to say, its weakness of fugitive thought gives place to the enduring background free from thoughts. This expanse devoid of thought is the self. Mind in purity is the self." Devotee asked, "How is meditation to be practiced?" Maharishi told, "Meditation is truly speaking, is to be fixed as the self. But when thoughts cross the mind and an effort is made to eliminate them, the effort is usually termed meditation. Fixity in the self is your real nature. Remain as you are, that is the aim." Devotee asks, "But thought comes up if our effort meant to eliminate thoughts only?" Maharishi told, "Yes, meditation being on a single thought, the other thoughts are kept away." Devotee asked, "We are asked to fix the mind in the self, but the self is unthinkable." Maharishi told, "When all thoughts are eliminated, it becomes fixed in the self." Devotee asked, "How is vichara to be done?" Maharishi told, the questioner must admit the existence of his self. I am is the realization. To pursue the clue till realization is vichara. Vichara and realization are the same. Devotee are, it is elusive. What shall I meditate upon? Maharishi told, meditation requires an object to meditate upon, whereas there is only the subject without the object in vichara. Meditation differs from vichara in this way. Devotee asked, will vichara alone do in the absence of meditation? Maharishi told, vichara is the process and the goal also. I am is the goal and the final reality. To hold to it with effort is vichara. When spontaneous and natural, it is realization. Devotee asked, in my meditation, I try to eliminate the throng. But so far without success. Maharishi told, how can I eliminate itself? All you have to do is to find its source and abide in it as your real self. Your efforts can extend thus far, the beyond will take care of itself. Devotee asked, Bhagwan, you always say that the self is ever present. If I am present, then why do I not feel it? Maharishi told, do you not now feel that you exist? Your doubt is whether you will forever continue to exist. Why should you have any doubt? A little thinking will convince you that the destructible part of your being, the body, is a mere machine, a tool in the service of the indestructible mind, which is the all in all, the knower and the master, you yourself. Your doubts and difficulties arise from your thoughts, which perceive the body and take it for yourself. Stop the thoughts, which are your enemy, the ego, and the mind will remain as your pure being, the immortal I. Devotee asked how to reach that center where what you call the consciousness, the I arises. Is it by simply thinking, who am I? Maharishi told, yes, it will take you up. You must do it with a calm mind. Mental calmness is essential. Devotee asked, how does that consciousness manifest itself? When that center, the heart, is reached, will I recognize it? Maharishi told, certainly as pure consciousness, free from all thoughts. It is pure, unbroken awareness of yourself, rather of pure being. There is no mistaking it when pure. Devotee asked, if go on rejecting thoughts, can I call it vichara? Maharishi told, it may be a stepping stone, but really vichara begins when you cling to yourself and are already of the mental movement, the thought waves. Devotee asked, then vichara is not intellectual? Maharishi told, no, it is inner quest. Devotee asked, is not meditation better than investigation? Maharishi told, meditation implies mental imaginary, whereas investigation is for the reality. The former is objective, whereas the latter is subjective. Devotee asked, what are the hindrances of self realization? Maharishi told, memory chiefly, habits of thoughts, accumulated tendencies. Devotee asked how to get rid of these hindrances. Maharishi told, seek the self by meditation in this manner. Trace every thought to its origin, which is only the mind. Never allow thought to run on. If you do, it would be unending. Take it back to its starting place again and again, and the mind would die of inaction, go back constantly to question who am I, tear everything away until only the source of all is left, and then live always in the present, only in it. There is no past or future except in the mind. Devotee asks, then I can dispense with outside help and by my own effort get into the deeper truth by myself. Maharishi told, true, but the very fact that you are possessed of the quest of the self is a manifestation of the divine grace. It is effulgent in the heart, the inner being, the real self. It draws you from within. You have to attempt to get in from without. Your attempt is vichara, earnest quest. The deep inner movement is grace. That is why I say there is no real vichara without grace, nor is there grace active for him who is without vichara. Both are necessary. Devotee asks, what is the paramount duty of a human being caught up in the cycle of births and deaths? Please decide on one and expound it to me. Maharishi told, for those desiring the highest, discerning one's own true nature is most important. It is the basis of all actions and their fruits. Devotee asks briefly, by what spiritual practice does one become aware of one's own true nature? What effort brings about the exalted inner vision? Maharishi told, withdrawing all thoughts from sense objects. Though effort one should remain fixed in steady, non-active, non-objective inquiry. Devotee asked, other thoughts arise more forcibly when you attempt meditation. There was immediately a chorus of questions by a few others. Maharishi told, yes, all kinds of thoughts arise in meditation. It is but right. What lies hidden in you is brought out. Unless they rise up, how can they be destroyed? They therefore rise up spontaneously in order to be extinguished in due course, thus to strengthen the mind. Devotee asks, what should one think of when meditating? Maharishi told, what is meditation? It is expulsion of thoughts. You are perturbed by thoughts which rush one after another. Hold on to one thought so that others are expelled. Continuous practice gives the necessary strength of mind to engage in meditation. Meditation differs according to the degree of advancement of the seeker. If one is fit for it, one might directly hold the thinker, and the thinker will automatically sink into his source, namely pure consciousness. If one cannot directly hold the thinker, one must meditate on God, and in due course the same individual will have become sufficiently pure to hold the thinker and sink into absolute being. Devotee asked, what is to be meditated upon? Maharishi told, anything that you prefer. Devotee asked, Shiva, Vishnu, and Gayatri are said to be equally efficacious. Which should I meditate upon? Maharishi told, anyone you like best. They are all equal in their effect, but you should stick to one. Devotee asked, there is something concrete necessary to meditate upon. How shall we meditate upon I? Maharishi told, we have become rooted in forms and so we require a concrete form for meditating upon. Only that which we contemplate will in the end remain ever. When you contemplate, the other thoughts disappear. So long as you need to contemplate, there are other thoughts. Where are you? You contemplate because you exist, for the contemplator must contemplate. The contemplate can only be where he is. Contemplation parts of all other thoughts. You should merge yourself in the source. At times, we merge in the source unconsciously, as in sleep, death, swoon, etc. What is contemplation? It is merging into the source consciously. Then the fear of death, of swoon, etc. will disappear because you are able to merge into the source consciously. Devotee asks, what is the best way to meditate? Maharishi told, do you do japa by rolling beads? Devotee said, no. Maharishi asked, have you thought of God, His qualities, etc.? Devotee said, I have read, talked, etc. about such themes. Maharishi told, well, if the same be revolved in the mind without open expression through the senses, it is meditation. Devotee asked, I mean meditation as signified in the secret path, and who am I? Maharishi said, after the camphor burns away, no residue is left. The mind is the camphor when it has dissolved itself into the self without leaving even the slightest trace behind. It is realization of the self. Devotee asked, in meditation, are there words to be repeated mentally? Maharishi told, what is meditation but mental repetitions of a concept? It is a mental japam which begins with words and ends in the silence of the self. Devotee asked, I am taught that mantra japam is very potent in practice. Maharishi told, the self is the greatest of all mantras and goes on automatically and eternally. If you are not aware of this internal mantram, you should take to do it consciously as japam, which is attended with efforts to ward off all other thoughts by constant attention to it. You will eventually become aware of the internal mantra, which is the state of realization and is effortless. Firmness is the awareness, though repeated practice will make your mind hold on uninterruptedly and effortlessly to the current, however much you may be absorbed in external activities. Listening to Veda, chanting, and other similar mantras has the same result as conscious repetitions of japam. Its rhythm is the japam. Devotee asked, will Gayatri help? Maharishi told, what is Gayatri? It really means, let me concentrate on that which illumines all. Dhyana really means only concentrating or fixing the mind on the object of dhyana, but meditation is our real nature. If we give up other thoughts, what remains is I, and its nature is dhyana or meditation or jnana, whichever we choose to call it. What is at one time, that means later becomes the end. Unless meditation or dhyana were the nature of the self, it could not take you to the self. If the means were not of the nature of the goal, it could not bring you to the goal. Devotee asked, can I use forms and images of God and mantras? Maharishi told, yes, of course. All these things can help, or why should they be recommended? in the books. Various things are prescribed to suit various natures. Each person must choose what seems easiest and appeals to him the most. Devotee asked, I have faith in Murti, Dhyana, worship or form. Will it not help me to gain jnana? Maharishi told, surely it will. Upasana helps concentration of mind. Then the mind is free from other thoughts and is full of the meditated form. The mind becomes it and thus quite pure. Then think, who is the worshipper? The answer is I, that is the self. So the self is gained ultimately. Devotee asks, I get into a trance which I see a sky like blank. Maharishi told, he who sees the blank is the self. Devotee asks, it is so difficult to understand self-inquiry. If something concrete is said, it can be readily grasped. Japa, dhyana, etc. are more concrete. Maharishi told, who am I is the best japa. What could be more concrete than the self? It is within each one's experience every moment. Why should he try to catch anything outside, leaving out the self? Let each one try to find out the known self instead of searching for the unknown something beyond. Devotee asks, meditation is possible only with control of mind, which can be achieved only through meditation. Is this not a vicious circle? Maharishi told, they are interdependent. In fact, meditation includes mind control, the subtle watchfulness against intruding thoughts. In the beginning, efforts for control are greater than for actual meditation, but in due course, meditation wins and becomes effortless. Devotee asked, how to check the mind? Maharishi told, will a thief hand over a thief? Will the mind find itself? The mind cannot seek the mind. You have ignored what is real and are holding on to the mind, which is unreal, and also try to find what it is. Was their mind your sleep? It was not. It is now here. It is therefore impermanent. Can the mind be found by you? Mind is not you. You think you are the mind, and therefore ask me how it is checked. If it is there, it can be checked, but it is not. Understand this truth by search. Search of unreality is useless. Therefore, seek the reality. That is the self. That is the way to rule over the mind. There is only one thing real. The others are only appearances. Diversity is not its nature. We are reading the imprinted character on paper, but ignore the paper, which is the background. Similarly, you are taken up by the manifestation of mind and do not hold the background. Whose fault it is? The essence of the mind is only awareness or consciousness. When the ego, however, dominates it, it functions as the reasoning, thinking, or sensing faculty. The cosmic mind, being not limited by the ego, has nothing separate from itself and is therefore only aware. Devotee asked, how is one to be aware of the cosmic mind? Maharishi told, hold the mind firmly and trace it back. By concentration, Mauna results. When practice becomes natural, it will end in Mauna. Meditation without mental activity is Mauna. Merging of mind in its source is meditation. Deep meditation is eternal speech. Devotee asked, I am hard worked and find little time to practice concentration. Are there any aids for it? Is control of breath a good aid? Maharishi told, Prana, the mind, arise from the same source. The source can be reached by holding the breath or tracing the mind. If you cannot do the latter, the former will not doubtful be helpful. Regulation of breath is gained by watching its movements. If the mind is watched, thought cease. Peace results in, and it is your true nature. King Janaka said, I have now found the robber, namely the mind, who has been robbing me of my highness. I will instantly kill this thief. The perturbation owing to thoughts appears to rob the self of its peace. The perturbation is the mind. When that ceases, the mind is set to take flight. The self remains as the undisturbed substratum. The devotee asked, is breath control necessary for enquiry? Maharishi told, no, not quite. Devotee asked, there is a blankness intervening. It is said in the book. Devotee Maharishi said, yes, do not stop there. See for whom the blankness appears. Devotee asked, for devotees there is no blankness. It is said. Maharishi told, even there is the latent state, laya, the mind, wakes up after some time. Devotee asked, is Hatha Yoga necessary? Maharishi told, it is one of the aids, not that it is always necessary. It depends upon the person. Vichara surpasses pranayama. In Yoga Vasishta, Tudala advises investigation vichara to Sikhidwaja for killing the ego. Reality can be reached by holding on to prana or intellect. Hatha Yoga is the former, vichara is the latter. Devotee asked how to prevent falling asleep in meditation. Maharishi told, sleep must be gotten rid of, for the natural state has to be obtained consciously in Jagrat, the waking state. Waking and sleeping are mere pictures on the screen of the native, thought-free state. Devotee asked, what is the difference between meditation and inquiry into the self? Maharishi told, meditation is possible only if the ego be kept up. There is the ego and thus object meditated upon. The method is indirect, whereas the self is only one. Seeking the ego, its source, ego disappears. What is left over is the self. The method is the direct one. Devotee asked, then what am I to do? Maharishi told, to hold on to the self. Devotee asked, how? Maharishi told, even now you are the self, but you are confounding this consciousness or ego with the absolute consciousness. The false identification is due to ignorance. Ignorance disappears along with the ego. Killing the ego is the only thing to accomplish. Realization is already there. No attempt is needed to attain realization, for it is nothing external, nothing new. It is always and everywhere, here and now too. Devotee what is that one thing, knowing which all doubts are solved? Maharishi told, know the doubter. If the doubter be held, the doubts will not arise. Doubts must be uprooted. This means that the doubter must be uprooted. Here the doubter is the mind. Maharishi told, devotee asked, what is the method? Maharishi told, who am I is the investigation. Devotee asked, may we perform japa? Maharishi told, why should you think I am this? Investigate and the thought cease. What is, namely the self, will be revealed as the inescapable residue. Devotee asked, I am the beginner in meditation and pray to Bhagwan to guide me. You exhort us to go on inquiring, who am I? May I know where it will lead me? Maharishi told, it is not mere asking, you must go to the meaning of it. Many meditate on certain centers in the body till they merge in them, but sooner or later they will have to inquire into their own nature, which is unavoidable. Then why not straight away concentrate on yourself till you merge in its source? Devotee asked, yes, for 20 years I have been concentrating on certain chakras and have been seeing things and hearing sounds, but I go nowhere nearer the truth. Now shall I go on asking, who am I? As soon as thought arises in my mind, Maharishi told, quite so, as long as you are not disturbed by outside thoughts, dwell on its meaning. The aim is to reach undisturbed the root of the I sense. Devotee we are advised to concentrate on the spot in the forehead between the eyebrows. Is it right? Maharishi told, everyone is aware. I am. Leaving aside that awareness, one goes about in search of God. What is the use of fixing one's attention between the eyebrows? It is mere folly to say that God is between the eyebrows. The aim of such advice is to help the mind to concentrate. It is one of the forcible methods to check the mind and prevent its dissipation. It is forcibly directed into one channel. It is a help to concentration. But the best means of realization is the inquiry, who am I? The present trouble is to the mind too, and it must be removed by the mind only. Devotee asked, how closing the eyes during meditation any efficacy? Maharishi told, the eyes can be closed or open as one finds convenient. It is not the eyes that see, there is one who sees through the eyes. If he is turned inwards and is not looking through the eyes, they can be open and yet nothing will be seen. If we keep our eyes closed, it is the same to us whether the windows of this room are open or shut. Devotee asked, suppose there is some disturbance during meditation, such as mosquito bites. Should one persist in meditation and try to beat the bites and ignore the interruption, or drive the mosquito away and then continue the meditation? Maharishi told, you must do as you find most convenient. You will not attain mukti simply because you refrain from driving away the mosquitoes, nor be denied mukti simply because you drive them away. The thing is to attain one pointedness and then to attain manonasha. Whether you do this by putting up with the mosquito bite or driving the mosquitoes away is left to you. If you are completely absorbed in your meditation, you will not know that the mosquitoes are biting you till you attain that stage. Why should you not drive them away? Devotee asked, how to do all this? Maharishi told, the lack of feeling that we are the self is the root cause of the trouble. Leave off thoughts and be, just be. It is the thoughts alone that create the hindrance. They are the trouble. Find out to whom the thoughts occur. As long as you think that an individual self exists, it will appear to do so. But find out where it arises and it will go. Those who have discovered great truths have done in the still depth of the self. Devotee asked, I get a headache if meditation be prolonged for some time. What should I do? Maharishi told, if the meditator and meditation be understood to the same, there will be no headache or similar complaints. Devotee asked, but they are different. How shall we consider them to be the same? Maharishi told, that is due to your outlook. There is only one, and there are no differences. On meditation, the relative consciousness will vanish. That is not annihilation, for absolute consciousness arises. The Bible itself says, the kingdom of heaven is within you. If you consider yourself to be the body, there is some difficulty in understanding the statement. On the other hand, if you know who you really are, the kingdom of heaven and all are included in your true self. Devotee asks, Bhagwan, each time I meditate, I feel a great heat in the head, and if I persist, my whole body burns. What is the remedy? Maharishi told, if concentration is made with the brain, hot sensations and even headache ensue. Concentration has to be made in the heart, which is cool and refreshing. Relax and your meditation will be easy. Keep your mind steady by gently warding off all intruding thoughts, but without strain. Soon you will succeed. Hari Om Tat Sat.